Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to the channel. We are back today and we're going to be playing some more of the First Descendant. Now this game is a new concept to me. I've always enjoyed looter shooters, but I've never actually full-fledged invested myself to learn one and become familiar with the systems, but the First Descendant has caught my attention. And so after spending some time, as someone who wasn't a beta player, I feel like I have a decent understanding of the game and everything that Albion, the main hub of the world, has to offer, and all of the inventory management and everything your UI has to offer you as well. I kind of wanted to go over and explain all of it because until you have proper understanding of these concepts, your journey of playing this game can feel a little bit misguided or confusing. And so I think that with some basic explanations that, once again, even a new player like me has learned and understood, I think will really help you all out and give you a clear direction and focus when playing the First Descendant. So I hope this video helps you out. If it does, a like is always appreciated, and subscribe if you guys want to see more. Let me know if you guys have been enjoying the First Descendant content as well, by the way. We put out a few videos, and from what I've seen, you guys have been enjoying the videos, so I'm hyped for that. So thank you guys, but let's get into this. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about it. I feel like it was difficult to know how to make videos because there's so many different things to cover, and sometimes when thinking of it from a viewer's perspective, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you don't know what to look up, I mean, you're not going to know where to find information that you need. So we're just going to be covering everything in Albion. I'm also going to be going over some of the UI and everything that you can do throughout the game's functions, the journal, the access info, map, quest, and social tab. And then I'm also going to go over your inventory and talk about some of the the concepts and what modules do and just everything. This is probably going to be a pretty messy video, but also very precise and covers everything, So kicking things off, going through Albion, that's how we're going to start this video off. In Albion here, when you first spawn in at the portal, you have the Ingris search device. What does this thing do? Maybe you've never opened it. You have access to the world map. You can fast travel anywhere. You can start some void intercept battles here. But more importantly, you can also change your difficulty here. Once you unlock hard mode after you complete the whole story, you'll be able to do that right at the beginning. Very simple, but honestly, up until honestly a half an hour ago, I hadn't even opened it. But yeah, over here in the main area, this is a great place if you bought the battle pass to play some Congo drums. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody joined me. Somebody gonna join me, or y'all AFK? I knew it! Yes! Gus? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Honestly, this is like one of the greatest emotes I think I've seen in any video game ever. It's hilarious. But yeah, heading to the left here, you first up have your mailbox, which is going to be where a lot of your purchases and stuff like that go. You got your communications box, which is mine is empty, and you got your lost and found, which is where a lot of loot that you don't collect will end up as well. The mailbox is actually pretty sweet right now. If you guys open up the game today, they actually gave all of the beta rewards because of some of the server, inconsistencies and stuff that's been going on since the launch. They gave the rewards to everybody. So yeah, that's pretty sick. Go claim those right now. And I also just realized I got my Twitch drops, so I'm glad to see those on there. I thought I wasn't gonna get them. I would honestly check this frequently, especially if your inventory gets full on the beginning of your playthrough of this game. So many times this will fill up quicker than you'll even realize. In addition to that, over here, we have Infiltration Operations Terminal. Now, from what I understand, the Operations Terminal is the closest thing that this game has to dungeons, and I'm pretty sure once you reach hard difficulties, you're going to be able to add fluctuate the difficulties to kind of make it so that you can get better loot. The harder it is, the better loot you'll get. That's from what I've understood after reading stuff online and hearing it from friends. So that's what the Infiltration Operations Terminal, and the Special Operations Terminal is honestly my favorite way to level up characters right now. If you want a really good experience farm and you're struggling to level up some of your descendants, here in Kingston, the starter area, once again right here, you have the Kingston Defend Albion resource. This is really easy to do if you just have you and a single friend, because you can cover both halves of the map. But this has up to 21 rounds. I can move my face cam so you can see that. So basically you can get rewards at round 7, round 10, round 14, round 18, round 21. My ultimate bunny is already level 40 and I couldn't make it past round 14. It really does start to jump in difficulty and get crazy. So leveling up your mastery rank, I think will make this probably a little bit easier, and coming up with good team compositions to actually farm through this. But it's a very good challenge. It's very fun. It's very good experience. Definitely do this if you want to level up. After you exit the special operations and infiltration operations, that's it for the left side here. And there's only one more thing that Albion has to offer, which is the mastery terminal, the prime hands. If you go in here, this is where you're gonna be able to click mastery rank up, and every single time you gain enough experience, you're gonna be locked at your last mastery level until you come here and do this. So it's important you come and you mastery level up, you get some stat increases. My face cam is blocking it once again, but yeah, it tells you required experience to reach the next mastery level. I'm only 3,000 out of 35,000. It takes quite a bit, and the max mastery rank in the game right now is 30. Descendants is 40. One thing I will say when it comes to your mastery rank, there are a lot of weapons that you have to unlock through crafting, which I'll explain on the other side of the map in a second. And you have to reach certain mastery ranks to even be able to craft them. So yeah, I just unlocked the blue beetle scout rifle. I had to reach mastery rank 10 to even get the blueprint, and yeah, I'm excited to get it. So that's it for the left side. You got the little map, you got the mailbox, infiltration, operations, and mastery rank. And now we're gonna head on over to the right side. Over here, we have the storage box. This is where you can store items. Pretty self-explanatory. You can put anything and everything in here. Your weapons, your reactors, your external components, everything that's in your inventory can all be stored in the storage box. Honestly, when you're first playing through, unless you find some like really crazy item that you're just strangely overly attached to at the beginning, you can store it. But for my first initial playthrough, I honestly haven't put anything in here. I just constantly go into my inventory and break everything down, which I'll get more into later. Next up, we're gonna move over here. You got little Robo Man. I can't even remember the guy's name, but you have the Descendant Instructor. He will teach you some things if you actually have the time of day to hear him out, for as much as this guy yaps. But I tend to come here whenever I see it glowing and just click escape, and he just gives you a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. There's oftentimes you'll do stuff and he'll just spam you with items. I just got the Hell Cage SMG. Like, look at that. Energy activators. It just unlocked behind my face cam. That is actually a really insane item. I can't believe I just got that. Energy activators allow you to increase your module capacities on like your descendants and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. So I'm kind of hyped I just got that. Down here, this is where a lot of like your story missions will honestly probably end up activating. You gotta talk to this guy, Alpha. Apparently you've been a descendant for like 40 years or something like that. Served some time. So the apparent goat of Albion. I completely forgot. This guy right here, Seneca. He is where you will go to do void intercept battles. You can do hard battles, normal battles. This is where a lot of your bosses are. And speaking of bosses, this is something you really want to pay attention to. I know it can seem a little bit complicated right at the beginning, but please just, it takes some very basic understanding to make your time fighting bosses and your time for your teammates fighting bosses a much more enjoyable experience. If you go to your boss, it says the weak point type. This is the type of weapon that these bosses are weak to. So burst, so like the burst rifles, you want to use these against this. Attack attribute, it uses a chill attribute, so you're going to want to get some chill resistances. And attribute resistance, it's normal resistance to shock. It's very weak against fire and very strong against ice because it is an ice type, and poison also seems to be very strong. Just seeing these with your modules in your inventory, you can slap on anything that just has any of these resistances to help counter the boss, and it will make your time genuinely a lot easier fighting them. And it even says recommended attribute resistance that you should be carrying, a chill resistance of 1600. On top of that right here, it has 3 tabs. We got the destructible parts. You got the back of the calves, the core cover over the chest, and the ears. These are weak points you're gonna wanna be spraying down. It'll help wither away at that boss. And then you also got removable parts. We have the core chest piece, and we also have the shoulder plates. These are parts that you can team fire, and once you break them, you'll be able to grapple up onto the boss to actually like rip them off and like pound at them. And then we also got destructible parts from frenzied. When bosses go into their frenzied state where you can't actually deal damage to them, they always have very precise weak points, and these are the amplifiers. So some very basic reading of the bosses before you get started, and some basic understanding of the weapons that are more effective against them, the resistances, and what they're weak to. I'm telling you, bro, game changer. Like I said, I'm gonna briefly brush over everything and anything that I know today, so you feel like you just have a good basis and understanding of the whole space, bro. We're gonna make our way over here. That was pretty much it for the entire middle and left half, and now we're gonna make our way to the right half. Over here, you have another storage box. We already went over what the storage box does, so we're gonna make our way all the way around the corner here. And this is where we got some of the weapon modification systems. Well, actually, first up, we're going to talk to Deslin. Deslin is the definition of someone who yaps just to yap. You can sell some stuff to him. Honestly, money, like your currency up here, your coins, is never a struggle whatsoever in this game. So I do not recommend selling anything break all your items down, please, to get liquid metal, because it'll help you craft much more important stuff. So don't sell anything. And in terms of buying stuff from him, this guy just, I mean, he sells you the most ridiculous. Why would you ever buy this stuff ever? It's horseshit. Don't buy this stuff. Just stay away from this guy. I don't know, maybe if you're bored you can talk to him. Moving on, we also got the workbench. I'm gonna turn off my face cam for this part of the video again. We got 4 different sections on the workbench. It's like, oh my god, where do I get started? What does everything do? Don't worry, we're gonna break it down real quick. We got weapon level transmission. Weapon level transmission is essentially where you go to match your level to the weapon you want. This is a really awesome system because if I go to my inventory right here and I look at my weapons, I have a Thunder Cage SMG that is level 44. Let's say my Thunder Cage was level 30 and I had a bunch of random weapons in my inventory that are higher levels. This is level 44. And this is a legendary weapon. The Thunder Cage is really good. This is a weapon that I like the abilities of. This is a weapon that I want to main. This is a weapon that benefits my character's build the most. I don't want to have to switch weapons just because this one is a higher level and it does more DPS. And so if you want the Hell Cage, which once again, let's say it was level 30, to be level 44, that is where you can come into this terminal. And if you go to the weapon level transmission, I can click my Hell Cage. And obviously my Hell Cage is already really high level, but there would be all your other weapons in here. I could probably do if I actually choose a different weapon. So we'll go to the launcher I got. I want my launcher to be level 44, but it's only level 27. I click this and I now need a precision phase exchanger. If I use the precision phase exchanger, it will automatically destroy the weapon that I'm substituting in for it and turn my launcher into a level 44 weapon. It's a great way to keep using weapons you enjoy. It's a great way to, you know, make use of loot that you wouldn't deem valuable other than its level. And yeah, it actually makes looting still feel rewarding. So I like this system. Now you're probably wondering, where do you get precision phase exchangers? We'll get into that in just a second. But long story short though, you craft it over there. But I'll talk about it more when we get over there. Next up, we also have the weapon readjustments. The weapon readjustments are basically where you can go, you can activate, oh, there we go. You can activate a weapon and you can re-roll its unique stats. Each weapon has unique little traits that it gets, and depending on the roll that you got, let's say rounds per magazine isn't important to you. I can change just that one skill by blocking out all the other traits to make sure that they're safe, but re-rolling this will be pretty expensive and it also costs you some hefty materials. The less you specify what you want to re-roll, the cheaper and cheaper this gets. So you know, make sure you find a good base weapon to even start rolling on. Make sure it has some good attributes that you got by chance to start off. Moving on, we're also going to get into the enhanced unique ability. I've already done this once. You guys can see it right there. On this Hell Cage, unlike this weapon, there's no yellow dots on the right. This one has already been enhanced once. It essentially increases the unique effect of legendary weapons. So I chose this, and the only other way to enhance this is to get another Hell Cage. Sorry, another Thunder Cage. I had a second Thunder Cage. That robot that I talked to earlier, that I told you guys to go talk to, he actually gave me one for free. So I used it to enhance this one, and now my weapon's better. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. This weapon has the unique effect of basically causing an electric attack when I proc a critical hit. So it basically increased the radius of the electrical attack. It increased the damage of the electrical attack, if you guys were wondering how exactly does it enhance the abilities. And then the last thing in this workbench is the reactor enhancement. In the reactor enhancement, this is where you can enhance your reactors. These are, I mean, I want to call them something else, but they're called reactors. The reactors that you equip to your build in your inventory. It's the same thing here. My face cam is back. I honestly would have had it on for that part, but I would have been blocking the screen like 99% of the time. Moving on though, the precision phase exchangers that we said you needed to do a lot of those tasks, where can you craft them? Well, you can craft them over here by talking to Anais. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name. I've seen people call her Anais, and then apparently, like, I don't know, I just see people flaming people for calling her Anais. But Anais, Freyna, this is where you can craft Descendants. I started crafting her yesterday. It took 16 hours to do so. I got 18 minutes left. Pretty hyped for that. But a lot of the materials you need to, you know, convert the level on your weapons and stuff like that can be made right here, like the precision phase exchanger that we just talked about. It takes 10 minutes to craft. It costs you some liquid metal, and it has a research cost of 50,000 gold. You're probably wondering, what is liquid metal? Liquid metal is where you'll go to your inventory and all spare weapons that you have, like we got a couple of weapons here. I don't need any of these. All these are pretty decent level. I'll delete some of these. I'll hold shift. I'll mark all of the trash. I'll probably keep 2 of these just for the level that it's at right now. And you hold control and boom, you deconstructed them, you dismantled them, you made them your junk, and because you made them your junk, you get some liquid metal as a reward, and you also get some super alloy. So these are the resources that you're going to need to actually be able to craft some of these things. So once again, all your previous existing loot aids in leveling up the loot that you actually care about. On top of that, once again, we get the Descendants menu. You're gonna have to go through and find blueprints and then find all the components to actually craft these Descendants. They're not exactly the easiest things. The ultimate versions of characters, I'm pretty sure, can take upwards of like 90 hours of grinding, and that's if you do it efficiently. So yeah, I mean, they're very difficult to get. Obviously, the normal versions being much easier, but this is where you're gonna go do that. We also got weapons. The blue beetle, which I talked about earlier on when we first got into Albion. This is a weapon I'm excited to make. I gotta go get a bunch of the materials still. It has a research cost, the research time. I had to reach mastery rank level 10 to unlock it. But I also now have another weapon behind mastery rank 15, which I still gotta level up to unlock these. Descendant materials, these are materials that you can actually create to aid in your Descendant grind, and you also have enhancement materials. These are, once again, to do all the things that we talked about on the workbench, and also to increase like module capacity and whatnot. I hope that made sense. It was pretty rushed, pretty brief, but at the same time, it's not exactly that complex. Moving on here, we have Siena. Siena is your laboratory manager. If you enter the laboratory, I just realized I'd never actually gone in here, but it's a firing range. It's actually really cool. You go in here, you can set your enemy type. I'm gonna go Legion of Immortality. We'll set the level to, let's go plus, okay, 31's a bit much. We'll go 21, and Vulgus quantity, we'll do 1 enemy, and you can set the formation at which they spawn at. We'll do a little vertical, and we're gonna turn off the invincibility. I'm gonna spawn the Vulgus, and bam, boom, look at that. We got an enemy, I killed him, he's dead. But you can set up a bunch of enemies. It's probably a great place to test out some of your weapons and your builds. Come here. I'm actually probably going to use this a lot. This is really cool. All right, I had to teleport back here, but there's only one more thing that I wanted to show you guys, and then we're actually going to get into the inventory aspect of the game, because some of the things may make a little bit more sense once I actually get into that as well. We got Silian. This is all the way, once again, on the very far right side of the map. We're in the same spot that we were right before we went in that firing range. You got 3 tabs. You got Enhanced Module, Dismantle Module, and Combine Modules. Dismantling modules is really useful because you'll get a lot of duplicates. I currently have no duplicates because I literally just cleared it out, but essentially I would hold shift or whatever button is on controller, and any duplicates of modules you already have will be destroyed and give you materials, which will aid in leveling up your modules. This is a very safe thing to do. You're not going to get rid of any modules that you deem important. Once again, it will never get rid of the original copy of the module. The only way to do that is to come down here and combine modules. If you combine modules, you can create new modules by inserting up to 4 modules on the right hand side. I got 4 that I don't really care about, that I know I'm not going to use on the build that I'm currently rocking with, and you can create some pretty special stuff here. So that's a good place to do that if you do want to get rid of the ones that you don't care about. And enhancing modules is very, very important. There's Descendant modules and there are weapon modules. Weapon modules are things that are going to buff the weapon stats, and Descendant modules are things that will also increase, your use of abilities and the damage they do and the MP cost that they have and how fast you can regenerate your MP. I've got a lot of stuff for Bunny. I run around with her and I use her little electrical attack. Skill expansion, it increases the range of the pulse that I have. Nimble fingers, this one reduces my skill cooldown. I've already upgraded a bunch, so it's minus 21%. You're gonna need these Coupier shards to upgrade these modules, and once again, you receive Coupier shards by breaking down duplicate copies. And some of them will also cost gold if you want to upgrade them. So like, let's click this one. It cost me 9,500 Coupier shards and 95,000 gold. So I'm a little short on the Coupier shards, but I have more than enough gold. I just got to break down some more modules. And then the weapon ones, once again, some of the ones I've invested into, a firearm attack plus 23%. You can't really go wrong in upgrading this one. You'll always probably end up using something like this. Better concentration, more critical hit damage, increases your fire rate. The one thing I will note that when it comes to upgrading your modules is the more you upgrade them, the more space they're going to take up in your module capacity. So you can see Nimble Fingers has been upgraded a bunch, but it cost 11 capacity points, which is a ton of space. So you kind of have to find a balance. Maybe you don't want to upgrade it all the way because it would be too expensive, but that is something to keep in mind. And so that's going to cover everything that Albion has to offer. Obviously, some of the stuff you're probably like, some of the stuff you're talking about, I still don't know what that means or it doesn't make sense. And don't worry, I just want you to know what everything in the main hub area does, because if you don't understand this area, then you're probably just gonna be running in circles all day, probably just sitting here playing the Congo drums in the main hub with some friends. I think this guy's literally trying to, yeah, look at this, oh my god. I can't get enough of this mode. I just love this thing, man. It's so great. But now we're gonna go through the menu system, specifically the inventory first, because I think this will really help you guys out. So the inventory can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot going on in here. Essentially on the left hand side, we have some weapons, and over on the right hand side, I'm gonna move my face cam again, we have your reactors, and then we also have external components. Some of you guys are wondering what the purchase slot is. If you click purchase, you would think, oh, it'd add more slots to use external components. And then when you go over here, you're like, wait, you can add 1,000 external component slots? That seems ridiculous. This is not slots to use external components. This is slots to add to your inventory. So in my opinion though, buying inventory slots can be kind of a double-edged sword, because the more you have, the less you'll check it, and the less you check it, the less you're going to be managing, you know, the stuff that you do have. And it takes a long time to kind of look through everything, and you want to make sure you have a small enough capacity that it's actually doable in one go. And on top of that, it keeps you filtering your inventory to make sure you're getting those resources that I talked about on the right side of Albion. And so when it comes to your weapons, you have a couple of different weapon types, and this is actually a really useful feature that the game offers. It has filters. You have all weapon types. We have handguns, assault, tactical, scout rifle, hand cannon, etc, etc. If you notice on the top here, there's multiple weapons with the same ammo type. So handguns and assault rifles, they share the same common ammo type. We have hand cannons and scout rifles, which share their same ammo types, and shotguns and sniper rifles with their same ammo types. And we got beam rifles and tactical rifles with, you know, the burst damage. These ammo types are the same things I said that you need to look out for, because certain bosses will have certain weaknesses to certain ammo types. You're going to want to make good use of those. But it's pretty common knowledge that you wouldn't want to stack the same ammo type across the board. I like to use my SMG. I like to use a scout rifle because it has a nice scope on it. It gives me a little bit of range. And on top of that, I have a sniper rifle, which is just kind of a placeholder until I get a shotgun, which I'm pretty sure I already have a shotgun. But this is where I recommend just kind of using one weapon while you're going through the main playthrough up until you get weapons you really want. Because the sniper rifle, the only reason I'm using this thing is because over on the right side right here, my reactor, it has a combination condition or optimization condition where I use a sniper rifle. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there underneath of my skill power right there. If I use a sniper rifle, it helps increase the reactor's abilities and achieves a skill power of 140% instead of 100% if I wasn't using the sniper rifle. So that's the only reason I use it, is just to get full utilization out of this thing. And one thing I want to note about specifically reactors is that the top stats, those numbers up there, are not very important. The only things you want to be making sure is that the numbers down there are as high as possible. Those are the numbers that are going to be, you know, impacting your skills, and you want to make sure they're doing as much damage as possible. So if I were to switch off to something like this thing, you can see all those numbers down there are red. Do not switch to this one. They're bad. I'm also meeting none of the optimization conditions, so I probably don't want to use this one. And in terms of external components, these are all pretty annoying to honestly loot. I don't have any extra ones right now because I already scrapped them, but just pick stuff that you think will benefit your build in terms of stats. I like to use legendary ones because they always have some decent, you know, bonuses to your character, like equipment drop rate increase modifier. I've seen XP bonus. Those are going to be beneficial like end game, but just for the meantime of the playthrough, I mean, you can't really go wrong with these. But yeah, I do hope that helped you out with understanding weapons and understanding external components and reactors. But we also have a couple more little slots here that I'm going to go over. We got presets. This is where you can kind of create extra full loadouts. Like this entire page that you see right here, I can save this as a preset to be saved. If I wanted to use something completely different for a different build on a different Descendant, you can create a new preset over here. I haven't saved any because I'm only using Bunny primarily right now, but that's the place you're going to want to do so. You also got your weapons list. This is extremely powerful, and it'll tie into some of the other stuff I talk about in a second. The weapons list is probably the best place that I recommend you go. There is another area in the game where you can look at this stuff, but it's super simple when you do it in your inventory. If you're looking for some weapons, I have shotguns filtered on right now, but let's say I was looking for a really nice assault rifle. I want a good assault rifle in this game. Okay, I can go over here and I can read the unique abilities just by hovering over them and find something that I like. So I don't have this thing, it's locked, but the Divine Punishment, it says grants a buff to allies excluding yourself will grant a unique effect, meditation to yourself, yada yada yada. I'm like, wow, this looks really, really good. I want this weapon. Well, luckily enough, all you have to do is click F on it and it'll take you to the research info. If I move my camera again, you can see how long it would take you to craft this weapon, how much it would cost, and all of the resources that you need to actually be able to craft it. If you thought it couldn't get any easier, you hover over the resources that you need. I'll click F and it'll take me to this tab. It tells me all the things I need to be able to craft this resource. It requires more resources. I already have all the superfluid necessary, but I need 125 monomolecular extractors. Well, it does get it even easier. Just click F on this, boom, it'll tell you the areas and where you can go farm to loot this exact item. Oh, the Agna Desert normal munition. Click this, boom. It tells me exactly where I need to go. And so finding the weapons that you actually want to use with the abilities that you want, and just overall browsing the entire category of weapons that the game has to offer, you can find the best weapons for your best build. And it's honestly a really fun process to go through. Next up though, that was the weapons list. We also have the Descendant Modules tab, and the Descendant Modules is where you're gonna wanna go to put all your modules onto your descendants. And obviously if I go over here, I can also put my modules onto my weapons. This is gonna be the module section of the video here. I'm not gonna lie, this is where I think most people, including myself, when I first started playing this game like just a few days ago, get the most confused and the most overwhelmed, because you're like, oh my God, there's so much stuff, where do I even start, yada, 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 yada. All you need to know is that there are no modules that you will loot in this game where, let's say this says skill power plus 11%, toxic skill power plus 5%. You're not gonna find a module that does the exact same thing, but it's like 12% instead and 6%. It's 1% better on each side. So you don't got to worry about like, oh, do these things even matter right now? There are so many different modules. They're all unique. They all do their own thing. But you know, some of these epics and some of these legendaries will stack and do multiple things in one module. If you guys look up over here, I have my module capacity. My ultimate bunny has a capacity of 50 module capacity. And so therefore, with these numbers above the actual modules, 5, 4, 6, 4, 6, 5, you got to make sure that your module capacity is under what you can carry, and then you can fully build your loadout. Obviously I have my 49 or out of 50, so it's pretty nicely optimized. And you're probably wondering now, when I was pointing out the numbers, why are some of these numbers green and some of these numbers white? That's because underneath of these green module slots, I'm gonna remember this is technician. If I take this off here, I'm gonna unequip it. There is a module tag. Honestly, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a module symbol, a module tag, a module mark. And these module marks are all over every module. This one has an M, this one has the X, this one has a little upside down J beside the number. Like, they all have their own symbols. And so if you find an ability that matches the module symbol, this normally costs me 6 capacity to put on my loadout. But because it has a matching symbol, it's the M, I'm gonna put it over the M. It reduces the cost by half. So it now only costs 3 capacity to use this module instead of the full 6. So I've done that a couple times. This one says 6, this one says 3, this one says 3. It allows me to, you know, use some pretty hefty modules at a very low cost and build the rest of my build accordingly. And so yeah, like I said, if you're doing a proper job and you're going to the right side of Albion and you're deconstructing all of the duplicate modules that you have, you'll be able to spend some time upgrading some modules that you actually find useful. And if you really take the time, I mean, there's not that many. Like, look at that. I've been playing since the start, and you know, we got 1, 2, 3 rows of modules. Read through some of them, find some that would actually benefit your build. You know, do you want to regenerate your MP quicker? Do you want more MP? Do you want your skills to do more damage? Do you want some extra defense, or do you want some extra HP recovery? Like, they're all just basic stuff. You know, a little module optimization will take you a long way in this game. And you don't gotta stress about the best build and the best. Find what works for you, find what you got, and make do. Now, coming over to weapon modules, these are kind of the exact same ordeal. It literally works in the same way the Descendant modules work. I have a capacity of 78. I actually upgraded this so it's pretty high. I can't even make use of all of it because I don't have enough symbols to actually create enough slots to do so. But yeah, we got some weapon modules. I prioritize attack, damage, you know, the critical hit damage, the fire rate on this thing, and I some of my other ones that obviously aren't upgraded, like weak point damage increase. This one increases the firearm attack but adds recoil, increases my electric attack, some overall just basic stuff. So that's pretty much it for everything in your inventory, and I think this is a great segue into something else I wanted to talk about because it has to do with Descendant Skills. But I'm going to go back into the weapons list and we're going to look at that Blue Beetle rifle again, which I told you I wanted right here in the scout rifles. If we go to impact rounds, we have this guy right here. One of the skills on this Blue Beetle rifle, it says when using a fusion skill, grants an ability. When using a singular skill, grants an ability. There's two different types, like fusion and singular skills. And you're probably like, what is that? Like, what are fusion skills? What are singular skills? I'm actually gonna take a quick second to take a break just to let your ears rest for a sec. I understand there's a lot of stuff in this video and it seems like you need a PhD or a master's to freaking know how to play this game, but it all is truly a little bit simple. It's just a lot to take in at the beginning. But yeah, we're gonna get into these Descendant skills. So if you look right here, it says Thrill Bomb, okay? Thrill Bomb way over there where it says number 4, like level 4, underneath of the little video. Thrill Bomb, electric, and fusion. Now electric is because it's an electric skill. It has an electrocution effect, and it has a fusion type because that's the type of skill it is. If we move on over to this one, this is a singular skill. This one is a singular skill as well, and this one is a fusion skill. If we go over to some of the other Descendants, like let's go to Lepic, he has a fire and a tech skill. He has a fire and a singular skill. Fire singular, fire and tech. So each Descendant will have different, you know, effects to their skills and different types of skills. And you're probably like, why are you telling me this? This is useful to know because, like I said, with some of these weapons, these skill types, fusion skill, singular skill, will be better paired with some Descendants than other Descendants. Bunny has all fusion and singular skills. So therefore, by using Bunny and this weapon together, I will constantly be activating this weapon's ability every time I use a skill. This is how you can help find weapons that are better for certain builds. Is it actually catering to your Descendant? And so that was just a little tip to help you find builds and, you know, like where do I start in looking for the weapons? You could just choose the coolest looking one, but how do you know if an ability is good for you? That's how you know. And so yeah, this kind of leads us into the rest of the UI, everything you're gonna need to know in Albion and in your menus. That's all I'm covering today, and it'll give you a good understanding of the game. The Descendants, this is where you can pull up all your Descendants, you can scroll through them, and you can purchase them, and you can see their abilities. Pretty straightforward. Going on to Consumables, this place is just a mess. I mean, if you got your enhancement materials, this is stuff that will help you, you know, increase module capacities and transfer weapon levels and, you know, like just level up your weapons and shit like that. Core materials, base materials, amorphous materials, miscellaneous. This is all stuff you're collecting, okay? This is all just crafting. Don't get too hung up in here. It's just a mess. It's a closet, bro. We're gonna kick it back now. We got Consumable, Descendant, Inventory, Customize. Customization is pretty cool. To sum it up for you really quick, we got Descendant Skins. You can choose your skins. I put on a cool bunny skin. If you go in here, you can actually like customize some of the paints on it. It's to cover the paint system really quick, actually. Every single time you buy a paint, it only costs 25 coins. If you use a paint on a skin, it is now locked to that skin. So if I buy this once and I use it once here, it just means it's locked to the skin as a whole. So I can use that one paint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times across the whole thing, but it just means I won't have that paint when I go to a different skin. That'll clear up some confusion when it comes to buying it. I already made that mistake once. If you look here, I have the metal matte gold paint, but I thought I had to buy it every single time I wanted to use one, so I have 2 more. But that just means 2 more skins that I get in the future, I'll be able to apply that paint to and have it available to use on the skin. The rest of it feels a little bit overkill to go over, but I'm still gonna do it just for you guys. Weapon skins, you click it in the battle pass, you might get some weapon skins. You can apply skins to all of the weapons through a weapon list in the game. Every time you pick up that gun, it'll look differently. You got spawn animations. I got this in the Ultimate Bunny bundle. Every time I spawn in or spawn out, you know, I have a little electrocution effect. I like Buzz Lightyear out, bro. Grappling hooks. I don't know why they made grappling hook skins. You can't even see these, but they have them. UI themes. I mean, they don't have any of these either. Name cards. I got this. I mean, it made my name card green, kind of cool, whatever. A Civ skin, I'm pretty sure that makes something float above your head. Emotes, I mean, emotes are pretty banging. We gotta play the Congos, bro. Moving on. Oh, I already covered all the rest of that just now. So we're gonna move on to the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass, this is not sponsored, by the way. Just some of you guys may not know how it works. For the Battle Pass, there's only one thing I gotta say, and it's something that I honestly find a little bit like, maybe it's not scummy because maybe some of them are boosters and you won't want to activate them right away, but you actually have to come in here and claim rewards once you've unlocked them. What is this? Gain gold plus 30%. I can claim this. If I claim this now, it would activate it now, so I'm not going to do so. So honestly, I take back what I said. It's not scummy that they make you claim it, but the weapon skin, in my opinion, that should auto claim. The battle pass gives some decent stuff. It's just gonna basically expedite your process. It does give you some weapons that you get. The weapons are generally free, but they do got some weapon skins in here. And a cool little thing they got going on in the battle pass, they got the bonus shop. The bonus shop is, you know, kind of like a currency you get from the battle pass through leveling it up, and then you can get some extra materials here to help craft. And the shop, I mean, I'm not gonna go over the shop, but all I'm gonna say is that Ultimate Bunny is definitely worth checking out in the shop if you haven't checked out Ultimate Bunny. I mean, I have my skin on in the shop for, you know, I'll probably get demonetized if the actual skin shows, but it's definitely worth inspecting. You know, there's a lot of detail, I guess you could say. So that's gonna do it for our entire inventory UI, and we got one more set of UI to go over, and then that'll kind of conclude this video and hopefully give you a really good understanding of everything in the First Descendant. We have our map, okay? I click G, I got my map here. You got the world map. If I click M or whatever it is on controller, I'm pretty sure it's the middle pad. You got your, you know, local map. This is where you can fast travel. I mean, if you don't know how to fast travel yet, you're probably really struggling, but you can see missions available, story missions, side missions. You can see all of the resources available in Albion. But of course, with the world map, you can fast travel anywhere you want that you have accessible. Going over to the quest tab, the quest tab is where you actually track what you want to do. This will make it pop up. So when you're running around, you're not like, where am I going? The story mission will show up in your HUD and you can actually just follow it. When you're in here, you can actually set certain quests to track, so it's pretty useful, you know, untrack what you don't want to see. Moving on to the social tab, this is where you can invite your friends and whatnot. The journal tab is where you have your awards and records. These are basically just like challenges you complete and stuff. It's definitely worth going in here though, because you can see I haven't been in here in a little bit, and if you go into, you know, glowing icons, the Descendants glowing, there's a bunch of rewards that you can claim. So go in here, click it, make sure you are claiming the rewards that you have completed. And this is gonna be where the video wraps up. We're gonna move over to the access info tab, and this is also an extremely useful part of the game. We got the Descendant tab. You can view all the Descendants. You can view all the weapons. This is kind of like the weapons list I was talking about. You can filter it. You can, you know, look at what all the abilities are, and same with the enhancement materials. Moving over here though, we have modules, okay? In here, you can actually see all of the modules that are in the game. You can find what would be good for your build, stuff you want to search for. It's the same as the weapons list and coming up with, you know, theoretical builds, finding what would work good with your character. Very, very useful section of the game, and it shows you the modules that you already have. You got Descendant modules, you got actual weapon modules. I'm just showing the full list of everything that's here. In addition to this module page, just like the weapons tab, I can actually go here and you can find out where you need to go to farm this module. These specific menus, honestly, I think in my opinion, clear up a lot of the overwhelming feelings a lot of players have. It makes finding a build, makes creating kind of the character you want to play as a lot more fathomable and achievable, and will make your time playing this game a lot more enjoyable. It makes your direction, your goal clear, so it doesn't feel like you're mindlessly just running around, like just hoping you get something good, even though you don't know what else is good. And the last bit of this is the exact same stuff for all your external components, your auxiliary power sensor memory processors. You got your core materials, you got your Morpheus materials, you got your basic materials, anything you want. You just go, click F, and you can find it. So yeah, that is the First Descendant in a nutshell, bro. I hope that covered everything that probably confused you. The rest is just go out there, complete some missions, shoot some targets, and create the build you want to create. I really do feel like that answered hopefully most of your questions, but if you do have any remaining questions, you can ask me down in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer as many as possible. You can also come to my Twitch stream, which is where I like to stream every day, and you can ask me live. which I'll probably be playing some more of the First Descendant later on. But yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you guys enjoyed the video, a like is the best way to show that you guys like the video. And if you guys want to see more, subscribing is the best way to see the new video. So thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just wanted to say, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, that I also have a Nexon supporter creator link, which I will have at the top of my description. You can click that link. You can add me as a supported creator to your Nexon account, and any purchases you make in the First Descendant will directly support me. So I'd appreciate it if you guys want to do that and go out of your way. But yeah, if not, I hope to see you out there. I hope you guys have a great time, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. So thank you. Catch you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Keep up, stay up. Peace out, y'all.